Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you today to this special session on the topic Experiencing Inner Excellence through Rajayoga Meditation. This program is organized by Aasana Yoga Studio, Muscat, under the patronage of Embassy of India, Oman, as part of a run-up event to commemorate the 7th International Yoga Day 2021. Please allow me to heartily congratulate and express my words of gratitude to the Indian Ambassador of Sultanate of Oman, His Excellency Munu Mahavar, and the staff at Indian Embassy who have been working hard to promote and spread the knowledge of yoga to the masses and the community in Oman. Aasana Yoga Studio is one of the most esteemed yoga organizations in Oman, actively participating in spreading the knowledge of yoga and meditation through our regular yoga classes, workshops, seminars, corporate events, and community services. Yoga is a life science known to humanity from thousands of years. Since then, many have practiced it in contemporary times. Yoga acts to bridge the gap between physical body, mental well-being, and emotional state of a person. Health benefits attained with regular practice of yoga and meditation are innumerable. With the current situation and everything that is happening around the world, people have started to understand the importance of yoga and meditation more and more. Ashtanga Yoga is focusing on different faculties like yamas, niyamas, asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. If you look at the last part of this Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana and Samadhi, it focuses more on meditation. So meditation with right knowledge and understanding is the path for spiritual progress. Out of many different types of known meditation methods, Rajayoga meditation technique is one of the highest method known to humanity for one's spiritual progress. It is said that what stands between you and your highest attainment is your self-belief. As undeniable experience of your excellent self allows you to become a true master of the self. In other words, Raja, the king, the master. With this awareness, one can experience various benefits. So we can explore that today through our special session with Mr. Prakash Chugni. Mr. Prakash, thank you for accepting our invitation and being part of this year's International Day of Yoga celebration in Oman. I just have a little bit brief introduction to Yogi Prakash. Prakash is a certified leadership coach and a soft skills trainer who has been inspiring many people around the world, transforming their lives. Mr. Prakash holds an MBA in marketing, MSc in psychoneurobics, and host of different certifications like GPHR, NLP, SHL, and more. He himself has been practicing meditation for over 20 years and has delivered various self-help talks around the globe, sharing his personal experience and inspiring many. So I now request Yogi Prakash to take us through an experiential session touching our inner self. Prakash, I hand over the stage to you.
Thank you so much. I'm very appreciative of Aasana Yoga Studio to help me get this opportunity to share some of what I have learned over the years with Rajayoga meditation in helping and supporting us bringing out inner excellence. So thank you so much. And I'm so appreciative about everybody else who's working behind the scenes to make this possible for everybody in Muscat. Let me begin with a small exercise that just helps us to relax. So wherever you may be, I'd just like you to ease yourself. If you're on a chair, just ease yourself into that chair. Although I'll request that you hold a erect back, which means have a spine that is straight, but otherwise your muscles of your body need to really be relaxed, which is don't hold on to any muscle. Don't try and have any tension on them. And a good way to do that is to check from the toe all the way upwards, right up to the neck and the back. Just check one muscle at a time to ensure that you are not holding, because usually unintentionally we may be holding some tension in some part of the body. And so just join me as we scan the entire body, our toes, calves, thighs, the back, the lower back, the upper back, the abdomen, the chest, our shoulders, arms, forearms, and our fingers. So ensure that there is absolutely nothing that we're holding on to, and we're very relaxed and comfortable. Of course, the face as well. Allow yourself to gently smile whilst the face relaxes. And now in a physical relaxation that's taken place, I'd like you to take your mind to a wonderful sanctuary, a beautiful space that appeals to you. It could be a seashore, and since we have a lot of seashores in Muscat, let's take ourselves down to a seashore and allow ourselves to gently feel the breeze that's gently coming from the sea. And I'm very easily walking on the sands. It could be a sunset, it could be a sunrise, whatever appeals to you. But the temperature is just perfect. The weather is beautiful. And you're completely and fully in that place, enjoying every bit of that moment, appreciating the beauty of nature. Whether it's the sun, it's the beautiful blue sky, it's the lovely waters, the sounds of which, the lapping sounds, are music to the ears, or the flight of those lovely white seagulls, or the feeling of the sand beneath your feet. You're able to have all these in great appreciation. You're just enjoying the beauty of the moment, fully in that space. There's nothing else that is in your mind at that time. Allow that beauty to fill the mind right now. Make that picture as bright as possible. Take a few moments as you have the entire scene, seeing what you see, hearing what you hear, feeling what you feel, all your senses fully engaged in that moment. And that picture, bright as always, creates the most beautiful feelings inside you. Observe all those feelings of positivity and power. And as we captured those beautiful feelings, let us now return back into the consciousness of the room or the place you are in right now. And let's continue. So if I were to ask you, that when you did this little creative visualization of this wonderful sanctuary, how did you feel? Well, there could be a time where you were not even able to take your mind to that place, which is perfectly okay. It happens. That's quite normal. Sometimes you had the picture, sometimes your mind went somewhere else. Sometimes you might have been able to focus even more beautifully than usual. But whatever the case may be, if you've had an experience, what sort of experience was it? And if you have not had an experience, what experience do you usually have when your mind can bring to itself such a wonderful image or picture? Usually we feel very relaxed. We have this fantastic sense of peace that overcomes us completely. We start radiating with happiness and joy. And all of this while sitting in some corner of my room or home or office. I didn't even go and step into that particular beach or that seaside. I was sitting in my home, but I had all those experiences, those beautiful, very nice, positive feelings whilst I was sitting here. All I did was just create that brilliant picture in my mind.
Okay.
So the question is, were those qualities and were those feelings created because you went to that ocean or seaside? Was something else responsible for you to make you feel that way? Well, maybe the picture triggered them off, but really, all these qualities of peace, love, wisdom, joy, happiness, strength and power, it is all within the self. And what we just demonstrated through this sanctuary visualization is that it just takes you a few moments to emerge all those beautiful feelings within yourself. Just a snap of your finger, just a thought that goes in the direction, a little bit of concentration, and I have it in me. What does that say to me? It says to me that with the right understanding and the right practice, I can experience anything I want to experience. Nothing is beyond my availability. If the mind makes itself up, it can reach where it wants. Now, usually we are seeing a very different environment around us these days. There's a huge amount of turbulence. There's so much of uncertainty around us. Whether we are at home, whether we are in the business environment, or we are just in a social environment, wherever we may be, we are witnessing something that's unprecedented for us. And so what we usually try to do is we try to control things outside. We want things to change outside for me to start feeling better inside. Even success, for that matter, for us, it's all externally driven. For me, success is about achievement, about doing certain things in a certain fashion and receiving those results or receiving those accolades and those appreciation from outside. And that's when I think that I am successful. And it's very important for me to relook at this word success. And that's why we use the word excellence. Because in excellence, you're not so worried about the results. You're more worried about the way you're able to go about doing what you're doing. The method is important. The quality of the way you think and feel whilst you do is more important than just anticipating a certain result. Because if everything I want to do is because of a certain result I need to achieve in my life, then I'm going to cut corners. I'm going to compromise on my values. I'm going to compromise on the quality of the way I'm going to feel while I'm doing my actions. And so I'm constantly, day after day, compromising in all these areas, and I'm trying to achieve certain results and goals. And once I have them, I have forgotten to experience my beauty inside, because I've so compromised them throughout my journey that when it's time for me to really experience those, I've gone far away from them. far, far away. And then there's a crisis in my life. So what's important is for me to understand that when I focus on inner excellence, it's about being the best that I can, rather than trying to be the second best version of somebody else, rather than trying to live a life which is appreciated by others, rather than just putting up all my pictures and images on Instagram and expecting those great shares from them, putting up my videos on YouTube and thinking about the 1 million views before I actually start feeling good about myself, and then thinking I'm worth it, and believing that only when I get 1,000 likes on Facebook, I've done something good. I've got to change all those things. Otherwise, I'm constantly going to be living a life of anxiety and stress. Because what I'm going to do then is, if I have those likes, if I have those shares and those comments and those number of views, only then I start feeling, wow, I'm worth it. I'm good enough. I'm capable. And so I'm constantly trying to do things for others to appreciate, even if there's emptiness inside. But I'm now so used to that particular thing from the outside world that if that does not happen to me, then my life is devastated. If that does not come my way, I feel depressed, I'm dejected. I feel frustrated and infuriated. I get bugged. And I'm constantly blaming situations, blaming other people, blaming everything around for why I'm not able to get what I want. This is where Rajayoga meditation enters the scene. When you say Raja Yoga, what does it really mean? It is the emperor of all yogas, the king. When you say king, what does it mean? Is it a kingdom or kingship that I have where I'm going to be ruling a lot of other people, my subjects? Well, yes, in a way, but who are the subjects in this place? The emperor of your own self, where your subjects are your sense organs, the eyes with which you see, the ears, the mouth, the skin that you feel with, the nose through which you smell. All these senses need to be in my control. And not only those, even the subtle sense of my thoughts. So I'm sitting over here thinking about things. We are constantly thinking. You may be sitting right now, watching, listening to what we are actually speaking, and your mind is in some place. Now, if your mind is with me, then you are having yoga with me. But if your mind is right now with your past, you're having yoga with your past. If it's with your future, you're having yoga with the future. Or if it's somebody else right now, then you're in yoga with that person. What Raja Yoga says is it's helping you to have and forge the highest connection that you possibly can. And that connection is with your true self, your core, your originality. That space within yourself, which is extremely natural. And that space is what you just experienced when we did this meditation, or we did the visualization of the sanctuary, of that beautiful place that you would visit. What then happened to the mind? Instantly, you were able to take away all other thoughts of the future and the past, remove all thoughts about what others think about you and whether you're capable, worthy or not. And all you did was just be on that space of the ocean. You were just there. And through that, what happened is your mind went into a very natural mode. The reset button got kicked in. You just went into your space, which is you, the core. And what did you experience? Relaxation, peace, contentment, happiness, joy, love, warmth, everything that you ever want to experience in life, you were able to experience by just neutralizing the mind. What is Raj Yoga? Raj Yoga is helping you to take the reins on, to become the master of the mind, and to stop what is not necessary, and to emerge what is important. There's a saying that If you conquer the mind, you conquer the world. Raj Yoga makes you the emperor of the mind. It's gentle with the mind. It treats the mind in a very beautiful fashion. It's not suppressing the mind. But over a period of time, as we keep practicing meditation and Raj Yoga, it purifies the mind. And it makes the mind such a beautiful space that it automatically brings towards your own self the highest, best, and the greatest of all qualities and virtues that you want to experience every time. There's a process, of course. And that's the process we'd like to just introduce to you right now. It's called ART, a beautiful acronym. That's going to help you see how the whole premise of Raj Yoga is and how you could also use this simple method to start becoming a master of your own mind. What is ART? Awareness, realization, and transformation. What is this awareness? Awareness of your true self. Well, am I not aware of my true self? The question I might ask you then is, who are you? Usually, we can give ourselves some very smart answers, but what is the identity I normally hold of myself? When I speak of myself as who am I? We heard this introduction in the start of who am I? You speak about the person in terms of how many years you've been practicing this, for how many years you've been doing this, what's your education qualification, which place you come from, what's your gender, your age. All those things are what I usually hold as my identity. That becomes my awareness. Now, this physical identity, which described everything that I just mentioned, is useful when you want to differentiate me from so many other people in the world. Okay, fine. For that particular purpose, you probably have that identity. But that identity does not hold good in a real sense. Because then what I'm trying to do with that identity is I start comparing, contrasting, and criticizing, and even complaining. When I'm better than somebody else, I feel egoistic. When I'm not as good, I feel jealous. What am I doing? I'm trying to compare this identity with everybody else at a physical level. Possessions, positions, all those things is what I hold as my identity. So it leads to a lot of negativity if I'm holding myself on with that identity. Because that identity is constantly changing and there's always a flux and there's this particular sense inside me, a fear inside me of insecurity every time when I have this single identity or a single dimension. Raj Yoga supports me with a second dimension, with an identity which is the true one, which is the permanent one, which is the higher one. That is the identity of the self as a spiritual being. We call it a soul, the Atma, the Ruh, the spirit, whatever we might, from whatever background we might be. But we all know that behind this physical body, these senses, I have a living being, which is the soul. And it's incorrect for me to say I have. I am the living being, which is the soul. And that shift from me looking at myself as this body and therefore attaching myself to all those positions and possessions externally and considering those to be mine and always trying to hold them and trying to secure them, possess them and to protect them, where all my stress and anxiety comes, all the jealousy and ego starts from. The shifting inside. I am the spiritual being, the living conscient energy that is having this body that I'm expressing myself through. Through my eyes I see, I'm listening through my ears, I'm speaking through my mouth, I'm moving with my limbs, all those things. The body is a vehicle to the soul. I am the soul, the real driver, the programmer. And so when I get myself to understand this identity, there's a huge difference because this is the awareness that's now growing now. Early awareness, body, physical, possessions, positions. That was the awareness suddenly now there's this new awareness that I'm creating of myself, metaphysical, spiritual, a conscient, living energy in the body. The one that thinks, takes decisions, has memories. Not only that, this particular identity of yours has nothing to hold, nothing to secure, no inhibitions, no insecurities. The body has all of those things. The soul does not have those. What are the characteristics of the soul? What are the qualities of the soul? Peace, love, purity, wisdom, truth, power and strength, and all these brilliant, pure, positive qualities that you can ever think about is who you truly are. Provided you just become aware of yourself as this being who is the metaphysical, spiritual one. So with that identity, I instantly have access to all these qualities. So from this awareness, and we'll do a demonstration which will help us to really experience it. So don't worry so much about how much you have understood what I'm telling you. If you have, brilliant. But if it's the first time you're probably exposing yourself to this particular way of looking at yourself, then that will be a little bit of a difficulty in connecting with that. But don't worry, we're going to go through a very interesting experience of it. And then it's going to be very, very clear for you. So when you have this awareness to start with first, what happens next? And that's what we need to really look. You have a realization. You start feeling peaceful. You start feeling love. You start feeling, because now when you start looking at yourself as a being that is beyond the body, you can connect to everybody so beautifully. There's a sense of contentment inside because you already are everything you want. There's contentment. There's a sense of elation and happiness inside you because you have got yourself now to the space of wisdom that has always eluded you. We've always run behind those things which we thought gave us happiness, but they were like those mirages. We just go reach there in a second, it's gone elsewhere. We go reach there, it's gone off. And so now there's a realization that you have, which is so deep, it's so beautiful. You say, wow. From a sense of relief, but also from this elation that I now truly feel peace, real peace. Not peace because somebody changed. Not peace because I was always wanting something and I have now got it. Because believe me, if that's how you defined peace all this while, I will be peaceful when. It's conditional. And so although that condition may be fulfilled and you become peaceful, do you think that will last for long? Not at all. No matter how much I try to convince myself, there's always going to be the next thing that I need to feel peaceful. I was working and I said, you know what? I'm working so hard. I want to really be peaceful when I'm recognized and I get a promotion. 2 years later, I was recognized and I got a promotion. What a beautiful sense of peace. Felt so good. And happiness as well. And then the next day I came back to work. I was excited. I brought chocolates and sweets and started distributing. And I saw my colleague also having chocolates and sweets distributed. I said, hey, what's up? What's happening? So, well, I'm happy that you got a promotion. I said, wow, but there must be something more. He said, well, you know what? I got a promotion too. So I was promoted to manager and he was promoted to senior manager. What happened to my state of peace? What happened to the state of happiness? Now, it's very important for us to really dissect this piece. It's totally normal to feel happy when you get that promotion. Don't deny yourself that happiness. but do not lie to yourself. I will be happy when this happens. I will be peaceful if this takes place. I would be so relaxed when this event occurs. Once this whole problem that you're facing, once that settles down, I'll be so relieved. Don't lie to yourself. And I'll tell you why that's a lie. Because then you are connecting all your natural qualities that you can feel instantly to an event that has absolutely no control. You have no control over it. And so rather than you wanting to feel relaxed about those things when they actually happen, every time they don't happen, you feel more anxious, more stressed. So free yourself from that. So the realization that you would have suddenly is, oh, I am peaceful. I am happy. I am loveful. I am powerful and strong. I am, period. Not I will be if and when, no conditions. Third part is transformation. So you have the awareness that leads you to a realization, the experience of that, and then that will lead you on to a transformation. Now, what happens in the transformation is, we are wired in a certain fashion. We've got these neural pathways that we have in the brain, right? And that thinks in a certain fashion. It actually makes things go in a certain fashion, so to speak. It's like me taking a certain route to the office every single day. The same route I go to the office. One day I'm told that we have an event taking place. So get to that particular space for the event first and then go to the office. So there's a small detour. And so me going straight towards the office, I forget to take the detour because I'm so used to taking that same pathway to the office that I go all the way straight to the office, and then I reach and say, how come nobody's here? Oh, I was supposed to go to that event. Now, what happened really? You just created a certain pathway in the brain, and that's the way you keep going. You don't have to think about it, it just happens. That's what's happening internally as well, in terms of the way you want to experience yourself, in terms of peace, love, happiness. We've got these pathways already created inside us, which is, I will be happy if this happens. And that happens, I'm happy. In the moment something else takes place, I become unhappy. I've created this pathway that I'm not the one who chooses. I'm a victim, which means depending on how things happen outside, how people speak about me, how many likes I have on this particular social media friends, all that will determine how I feel. That's the pathways I have created. Biggest one is my identity. I've created this strong path that my identity is all about my possessions, my positions, my prestige, and my paycheck. Alas, if that's the path we have created, then that's the only thing that's going to be fed into me for all my pleasure, my joy. And there's going to be immense stress and insecurity there. So we're turning that around when I start with my awareness of the self as a soul. And then I start realizing, experiencing that, yes, I am peaceful. I am happy. I'm creating new pathways now. And slowly but surely, as I regularly practice this meditation and this yoga on a daily basis, constantly taking my mind internally, inside, back to the space of the spiritual being that I am, the realization that I am peaceful. And then what's happening, this transformation, that takes place automatically. You just have to take place. You just have to ensure that you show up. You show up as a being of light. You show up as a spiritual being. You show up as a person who is peaceful, period. Just show up that way. The transformation is happening in the background. You're being reprogrammed, rewired. There's a lot of unlearning that is taking place while something new is actually happening. And so that's the ART that we're actually doing through Rajayoga meditation. All right, so let's now get into the experience of it. So we've got about 5 minutes left before we open ourselves up for some Q&As. But let's take these 5 minutes to just nicely experience our true, innate, core selves. Let's take this word peace and let's try and explore how I can experience peace and know that it's something that is my true nature. So I want you to do some work with this because it helps when we are actually actively working at it, not just listening to me, but I want you to involve yourself, participate with me so that we get the best from here and we really get to an experience, right? Is that okay? Please participate. It makes a big difference to the way you will then have the experience from here on. Take the word peace and understand what it means to you. What does peace really mean to you? Ask yourself this question and look for all those indicators or all those things that mean peace to you. Think about it right now. What does peace mean to you? And I'm just going to play a little bit of music as we do that so that it really, helps me. What does peace mean to me? Think about peace. We've experienced peace so many times, so I'm just trying to make you feel the meaning of it right now, just the meaning of it. To me, peace means this real tranquil sense and feeling that I have inside when there's some serenity, there's a calm sense, a state of calmness. Where nothing bothers me, really. I'm not being chased by something. I'm not being pulled by anything or pushed at all. I am. That's it. And I'm feeling very calm, totally relaxed. And that's what peace means to me. So we all have our own meaning of peace. Now, let's take the second part of it. Can you think about an image or a picture or a symbol that can bring to your mind peace? What is the picture that comes to you when you think about peace? To me, sometimes it's the highest mountains, just the sight of those beautiful mountains. It's really tall and gigantic and awe-inspiring. Sometimes it's the sea, sometimes it's just a still pond where there are no ripples. That's like peace. So what image of peace comes to you? And last but not least, I want you to just think about a time in the past, recent time in the past when you actually were very peaceful. I want you to just reflect back on that time and look at that space when you are very peaceful. Okay, so now we've done 3 things. And I want you to bring all those things up one at a time. to the screen of your mind. Firstly, what is the meaning of peace to you? Bring that to your mind right now. What does it mean for you to be peaceful? Now I want you to bring to the mind that image of peace. And I want you to now create that feeling of peace that you had recently. And now hold all these three simultaneously. The meaning of peace, truly let that meaning become very clear for you now. Very clear meaning of peace. The image, let that picture be very clear in front of you. And that feeling. And that feeling is going to be enhanced as you understand its meaning and as you look at this picture. I want you to just explore and explode with that experience of peace right now. Just for a few moments, gently let yourself to feel peace and see how this extends to the entire parts of your body. And then you feel this peace radiating outside of you, around the room, and beyond. You are the pillar of peace. I want you to imagine connecting with people now. People you know, people at home, people at the workplace. You're doing your duties as you normally would do. Whatever duties you got to do, you're performing them. Keep performing them with this state of mind. And see, when you're in this state of mind, completely tranquil and peaceful, and you're doing your work, you're connecting and meeting and talking to people, what is the experience you have? What's the experience others have of you and your work? Just be silent and still for about a minute as we keep growing the state of peace inside. So if your mind goes away somewhere else, no problem, just gently bring it back and allow it to contemplate on peace. If you contemplate and concentrate this way, you will definitely have a realization of it. Okay, thank you. So what we just did was we contemplated on peace with the awareness that I am peaceful. And then we concentrated on it through these questions I gave you. And then eventually what happens when you can concentrate on this is you will experience it. By all means, you will have a good experience of peace. Once you have that experience, that's the realization. And if you do that on a daily basis, there's transformation. They say doing it for 21 days gives you that transformation. That's why you probably have these 21 days run up to the meditation day or the yoga day. But the idea is to continue consistently, not just doing it for a week, 21 days, but for our entire lives. Because why don't we want to actually make life fully peaceful, loving, and happy? Okay, I'm open for any Q&A questions if you might have.
Prakash. Prakash, you nicely explained the art, awareness, realization, transformation. And also you nicely touched the part of visualization and realization. I think we have around 10 minutes to go for the question answer. Maybe we can take few, depending on the time. One of the questions that would be really appropriate at this time, we have a lot of challenges going on in the world. Everybody is facing problems and things going around the world. And science is a tool that we have for humanity, which gives you a solution. But science needs time. Science needs time to find a solution. For example, the vaccine, it took some time to. And then during this time, people were told to pray. Say, just pray, just wish, good wishes, prayer, just to keep going so that you keep your inner strength. Now people started praying in different faiths, people praying in different ways. I just want you to just relate the meditation and prayers. And what is this higher consciousness? If you can just give me a little bit tips, how we can use meditation in our real life connection with the higher source. I think your mic is off.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So what I can understand from this is that it's interesting to note that there is never smoke without fire. Whatever's happening around us, there are certain effects, the cause of which we're not able to see. But we need to understand that there's somewhere or the other we have been responsible for the cause also. We've done something, which is why we're seeing these results right now. So what meditation is doing for me is suddenly it's helped me to go back, look into myself and see how can I actually evolve into being the person I should be, the person full of values, of qualities, of character. And that's what meditation does. So firstly, when I start meditating, there's a huge transformation as an ART, awareness, realization, transformation. And then with this particular transformation, I know that, okay, in the past, I've done certain things because of which we are all collectively experiencing something which is untoward. But I know that as we all start taking up this particular commitment to start changing ourselves, because the Rajayoga Meditation Center has a simple philosophy, world transformation through self-transformation. So we just need to see how I can transform myself so that one person becoming good transforms to another, and slowly we'll see collectively there will be a lot of goodness. And so then all these things that we see right now, at least as we move forward, will not occur, will not take place. Two, when I'm actually connecting to the Supreme, what I'm also doing is I'm connecting the Supreme as a person who's the almighty authority, the one who has all power. Now, what sort of power does he have? He has the power to transform and to change me. And so it's very important for us to know that I am responsible and I have to change. And so when I want to connect to the Supreme, I got to do that in such a way that I start feeling that change. It's not fair that I do certain things which are wrong, and then I expect somebody else to come and clean up for me. I've got to do it myself. My connection with the Supreme empowers me, helps me to go back to the core self. Because we all know that they say man was created in the image of God. And so if I was in the image of God, what the Supreme will help me do when I meditate and connect with him, that's the yoga that we're doing, right? Yoga is connection with the Supreme. And whoever you connect yourself with, you become like that person. So if I'm constantly thinking about and communicating with a person, whether I like it or not, I start becoming like that. When I start connecting with the Supreme, what are the qualities? He's the Almighty, the ocean of love and peace and truth. And so I also start having all those within me. And so that's how it's going to support me in becoming the person I should be. And therefore, I can see that the environment also starts changing around. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash. I think that's nice of you to just touch upon that part. Today people are busy in their life schedule. Everything is busy, time. There's no time. Yeah. So how can we find the time to do a meditation, for a busy people? So I'm working, but then what do I do in Raj Yoga? I mean, what is the essence of Raj Yoga says for a busy person?
Time is never an issue for anything at all. I don't believe that we don't have the time. It's a matter of priorities. We are always able to do things that we feel is important for us. If we see value in that, if we see benefit in that, we definitely do it. The problem with meditation is that we don't see immediate results and value. It takes time. It's about an investment in something that is, over a long period of time. But then I don't see instant results of it. So that's why many of times we say, I don't have time for it, because I don't think. Number two, it could also be very, it's intense. It requires and demands that I go off stream from all my natural, normal ways of, being very extrovertish and just, being there, playing things and moving around. Meditation respects that, certainly. It doesn't say that you don't do those things. But what it's asking you to do is to start with, at least, to start looking inwards as well, which I don't usually do. So because of all these things, I just say, I don't have time. But tell me, I know a person who always said he had no time for exercise. One final day, and he was a very young guy, 38, compared to me, very young. Now, so 38, what happened suddenly, he was trying to reverse his car. And when he turned around to reverse his car, he could not turn back. He got stuck in the position. And then, obviously, he was 2 weeks in the hospital. It took 3 hours for the paramedics to actually get him out of the car and then get him in the hospital. And that 3 weeks, I remember going to a meeting and I said, what happened? He said, you know what, I've not exercised for more than a year. And so that's why, just wasn't in shape. And so I turned around and I got a pull and I could not turn back. That was why it happened. And I said, why didn't you exercise for 1 year? He said, I had no time. So why not? I had so much work to do in my office and nobody else could do it and this, that, all those things. I said, now you're going to be over here for 2 weeks. Who's going to do what? Well, they'll find a way. You see, what happens is we say we don't have time, but let me tell you, after that, every day the guy had time to go and exercise. So I just think it's a matter of priority. It's not a matter of time. We got to understand what's priority for. And many times we do not give priority to the mind. We give priority to everything else. But let's not forget that it's the mind. Everything starts from how I feel inside. Everything, whatever I want to give to the world outside, I can only give if I have it inside of me. I want to give joy, peace, love, happiness to the world outside. And that's why I'm doing so many things. But I forget that I cannot give that to them unless I am that myself. So it's very important for us to go back and relook at my priorities, have them straightened, and then I will 100% find the time.
Thank you very much, Prakash. Also, I was reading about Raj Yoga. They said, while working, you can meditate. While doing something, you can meditate. Can you just explain that a little bit more, please?
Yeah, because what is meditation really? If you see, it's just shifting your awareness. So while I'm now talking to you, what is my awareness? I'm the body who looks like this, who's this age. I'm doing this because I need some recognition and I need a lot of praise. That is one way to do my action. That's on a body conscious state. What Rajayoga is saying is just change the awareness to I am the spiritual being who is here to give, to share. Why? Because I just want to share, not because I want something good in return. You must tell me this. I'm not holding myself to any of those identities. So when I'm doing Rajayoga, I'm just shifting my awareness. And there's a very pure space I get into while I'm doing my actions. And so then there's a lot of joy in the actions. I feel so peaceful when I do. And I will see that because there's so much of purity in my actions, that the results also would be phenomenal.
Thank you, Prakash. In our yoga centers, many people come to learn yoga. And then when it comes to a meditation part, they're not able to concentrate. Some people also, we have seen that, when you ask them to sit in silence, it's very difficult for them to go and touch that inner part. Maybe there is something that they don't want to connect to. Is there anything that you advise for them, to come out of those type of memories that they have? They don't want to go and touch there and then get disturbed. So how do you give me a little bit of hints on that?
There are a few things I want to share. Firstly, they need to understand the value of it. We say silence is golden, but we don't really understand it in its depth. What does it really mean? Two, the misunderstanding of what silence is all about. So silence is not just an empty blank space that you want to create in your mind, but silence is actually clearing the unnecessary, the waste, and allowing and emerging your true core of peace, love, happiness, purity inside you. And so if I understand it from that space, then I would like to be in silence, because silence is then active, it's beautiful, it's so energizing and rejuvenating. And so if I can take that 1 minute of silence, I can sacrifice 1 hour of sleep. That's the kind of power that silence has got. So I need to really know its value. I need to know its true meaning and understanding. And of course, I need a little bit guidance initially before I'm thrown into the deep end. And I think if you can do these three, we should be able to have people go into silence in a better fashion.
Thank you, Prakash. I think you have touched upon a lot of part, and then maybe people who are really interested to know more about Raj Yoga, they should be able to go somewhere and learn. So can you just give me a little bit hint on where did you learn Raj Yoga, and where people can go and get in touch to learn Raj Yoga meditation, and what is this organization that can give more knowledge?
Well, I got it when I was in Dubai about 20 years ago. And the good thing about the Raj Yoga centers is that it's worldwide, it's across every country. I don't know if there's a single country that we don't have centers or people who are available that to teach. It's just about connecting with one another and finding out where is the nearest person I can go and talk to about learning the course. And the course is offered. It's a 7-day course. It teaches you about how you can connect yourself, what meditation is, what are the powers that you can actually access through this, all those beautiful things in 7 days. And it's absolutely free. It doesn't come with any cost. In fact, I remember doing this course 20 years back, and I went and it was all free, of course, and I was ready to pay us. They said, no, no, no. In fact, they were giving me sweets and stuff, and for coming, they would give me a blessing card, and here, have this and enjoy it. I was like, well, is there some catch? Maybe you want me to pay at the end or this, or you're taking me for a higher course after that and saying, you have to do this, that, and the other. Nothing. And, that was something that was really amazing for me to know that there could be true selfless service. And so that was what really got me there. And once I tasted what Rajayoga meditation was, it was fantastic. It's headquartered in India, in Mount Abu, in Rajasthan. And that's a place I visited several times, because the first time I went there, it was like the place for angels. I really met angels in human body and flesh. And so I felt so amazed over there. I still keep going there. And so everybody's welcome to come to Mount Abu as well. That's the spiritual headquarters. And they could pay a visit. It's been there since about, at least the institution has been around for since 1935 now. And so it's been a long time since it's there, and it's available, it's growing, it's there in every part of the world. Just look up for Rajayoga meditation and you'll be able to find a near place for you to go and learn that meditation. I think that's important, that just don't jump into the deep end, but go and do the course. When you do the course, you really gain immensely from it. Lots of clarity comes in. And so you start off in a very nice way.
Thank you, Prakash. I think the time is coming to an end, unfortunately, because it's a very nice subject to discuss and experience. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Such a pleasure, really.
Very nice. I think we can have more sessions in the future. But for the viewers to know that we do have a Rajayoga Center in Oman, who conducts regular meditation courses. And of course, as you said, it's also free of charge. And people have taken...
Sorry. I just wanted to add one thing. Whenever I look at Oman, I've visited Oman so many times. I love the place. And for me, it's like the space where you can really go and be yourself, be who you are. And that's why I look at O-M-A and Om, it starts with Om, Oman. Om is actually this mantra, which means I am a soul. I am the spiritual being. That's what Om is. And so when I say Oman, it's like really, I go back into my own space. So I just love to say that. I'm so glad that I'm doing this wonderful workshop for the Omanis, who are also, naturally who they should really be, and to connect with that space.
Thank you, Prakash. You really touched upon this part of Oman as being a very peaceful country. Oman is really a peaceful country. It's not really peaceful. It's peace, peace, peace here. People around the locals are very peaceful, very much value-based lifestyle. The leadership which Oman has experienced, past so many years, has brought a real value for the country in terms of, not only in the region, in the world. I mean, you can look at the internet and get more details on Oman. People are watching from outside. But really, it's very interesting to be in Oman and experience Oman. I heard that you came many times to Oman and gave many programs. One of them is a CCB, I heard. It's like a Choose, Change, and Become program for the youth. Which was really designed for the youth programs. So good. I think the viewers, I would suggest if they want to get to know more about Rajayoga meditation, more about these kind of events, they can get connected to us, or we can guide them to go to Rajayoga Center. And I think they can have their spiritual growth through not just with yoga, but through meditation and spiritual knowledge. And thank you very much, Prakash. And we hope to see you again. And great evening for everyone.
Thank you so much. For such a pleasure.
Thank you, Prakash. See you. Bye-bye.